today. This is Lou Porter, and I'm here with none other than Mayor Buck Clark. Good morning. How are you?
Lou, I am perfect, despite our previous conversation.
Yes, we won't go into that, but anyway, lots of things have been happening in our city.
Yeah.
And things are beginning to pan out as they were planned.
Yeah, yeah.
And our streets are looking better.
Well, they are. I mean,
You're frustrated
this is
about
just
that,
an
but-
ugly time of the year for streets.
Well, it is.
It's terrible.
Definitely.
Because, you know, we've had that bitterly cold that froze everything,
Yeah.
and then you have a little bit of thaw, and when you have that, you have what they call frost boils.
Oh,
all
is
over
that the name? Okay.
Those bumps that
Those
you have.
bumps, yeah.
Yeah, that's where moisture has gotten down there and frozen. Now it's thawing, so it's expanding, and it's a mess. So let's don't talk about streets.
Let's don't talk about streets. Well,
You know, Lou, why don't you start your program with giving your phone number out? I just wish people would call in. I really do.
Well,
I wish we
think-
could get folks
I
to call with questions.
Yeah, I wish people would call in, but it doesn't mean they're not listening where they are.
Oh,
It just
no,
means
no,
that
no.
they're not, yeah, they're not
They're-
calling in. But we will do that.
Yeah.
The number here is 234-1441, a
Yeah.
good suggestion from our mayor. And if you have a question or a concern, or you just like to have something to
Yeah.
say to him or ask him,
Yeah.
this is one of the times that you may do that,
Yeah.
along with many other opportunities at KBBG that allows you to call in and get information
Yep.
or be on a show, become a host. It's limitless. It really
Limitless.
is. Limitless, yes. So, again, that number is 234-1441, 319, of course. And we'll see what happens.
see what happens.
Maybe
Thanks.
the magic bunny will hop up or something.
That's not till April.
Yeah, well, April's like tomorrow. Have you ever seen the
I
year
know.
start off so
I know.
fast?
Well, you know, we're halfway through January.
That's right.
Today.
Mhm.
And our days are getting longer.
That's right, already.
And, you know, I said the other day to somebody, asked me, you know, the legislature is in session, and
Uh-huh.
we are working on our budgets, which means to
Already.
me, spring is right around the corner.
Yeah, well, it won't be long.
That's right.
It really won't be long.
So,
What is it that's been happening where you've had to make your appearance? I know that the Sportsplex.
the Sportsplex, sir.
Yeah.
You know, that's,
Describe that maybe
well,
for the
let's-
community, people who couldn't get there.
let's talk about that, Lou,
Yeah.
because, you know, it really is, it's just a catalytic facility. It's a signature facility for our city, and it's something, while it's received both positive and negative press and comments, there's still a percentage of the folks out there that's really pretty negative about that. But we had 2 weeks ago now an event for contributors that have ponied up considerable amounts of money, and some of the contractors to come in to kind of take a look at it, which was a fun event. But this coming Friday at 3 p.m.,
3 p.m.
The facility will be open for all the world to see. Absolutely anybody can
Okay.
come at 3 p.m. and for the rest of the day, I think it goes till 8. You can come down
Right.
and just walk in the front door and walk around and look and see what the facility is. But you know, there's 3 or 4 main parts to that building. And you look at the outside of it as you drive by, and you can tell it's a big facility, it's a big building. But when you walk inside, if your jaw doesn't drop, you're not normal. There are 4 soccer fields on the inside of it. There is a basketball part of it that has, okay, now I gotta count, I think 6 different basketball goals around it. There's a swimming pool that has an indoor slide and a lazy river, all of that kind of stuff. There are, the second floor has a running track, 4 times, I think it's 4 times around the track, and you've ran a mile. There is a cardio area, we're calling it, which has the weights and the workouts and the stationary
Up the heart and all
bicycles
that,
and all of that
yes.
stuff that has, you look up there and it seems like hundreds, there's not hundreds, but there's a whole bunch of machines up there that folks can, and with television screens, so you can sit there and there's an individual monitor on every single machine that you can get on, and you can look at your heart rate and all of that stuff on.
Very good.
There is an all-purpose room that we're going to have all of the Zumba classes and the yoga classes and the, you know, where these workout Nazis make you sweat and hurt and all of that stuff. But Lou, the facility is something that this community should be and will be, I think, incredibly proud of. As it kind of, and as I mentioned to you earlier, although we're opening Saturday, you can actually come and work out. I mean, it'll be open for people to come work out. There's still, it's an enormous building.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of what we call punch list items that are, you know, there's going to be workers in there for a few months now, just finishing up all that little stuff that has to be finished up.
Right.
So there will be people working out and people working in that building for a little while yet. But what a facility.
Yeah, and I'm saying, I'm sure that will probably make one of the big magazines somewhere or another.
I think so.
It should,
yeah. And we started, actually, Lou, we started last Monday. We have an agreement, a contract, I guess it's called, with the Cedar Valley Soccer Association.
Oh.
They have just been for years scrounging for places to practice and have games during the winter. They go to Cedar Rapids, they go to Des Moines, they go all over the place. And we made a commitment to them that we would have that facility ready for them this past Monday. So the 13th, this past Monday, starting at 5 o'clock and running until 8 o'clock, we had, I don't know, we had a whole bunch of kids in there playing soccer all night long, and they were just, this is, wow, this was great. I mean, it's in the middle of the winter and, you know, terrible temperatures, and they had this fabulous facility that they can go play soccer in right in the wintertime, right in Waterloo. It's going to be an incredible
I
facility.
want to say just something about Rick Young, the Young family.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that he had a great connection to that and responsibility for raising money and so forth. And I think that when an ordinary citizen or resident takes on that kind of a chore and it turns out the way that it has, you know, Rick really deserves a lot of credit for that and the people that he was able to bring along and so forth. And I think, you know, as far as some people who don't like it, Mayor, you cannot please everybody.
No.
You cannot.
No, you
So those who will, and there'll be those who won't.
Yep.
And you just move ahead on things like that, you know. Or they'll either come around or they won't.
Yeah.
But it won't stop others from enjoying, you know, this beautiful facility and what it's added to our city. And now that can be sent out to anywhere and encourage people to come here instead of us having to go there, you know.
You know, when you stop and think, at our city entirely, I mean, our whole city, where we are today versus where we were just 20 years ago. And I'm including the North End, I'm including the Logan Plaza area with everything that Allen Hospital has done, the 63 revitalization, the little shopping center up there with Hy-Vee and the subway. I mean, from end to end, side to side, we've come a long way.
A long way.
And if you particularly look at our downtown, you know, 15 years ago, we didn't have a river walk loop that you could walk around or bike around. We didn't have an expo grounds to have. We didn't have a public market. We certainly didn't have a gorgeous amphitheater right on the river for all kinds of performers to go to. We didn't have a youth pavilion attached to the Arts Center where the kids can go and interact and do all of those things. We didn't have a splash facility, the Marks Park area where kids can go down and play in the summertime. We didn't have that. We didn't have a sportsplex. You know, there are so many things that we didn't have. We didn't have people wanting to live in our downtown.
Imagine
and
that.
Now, you know, those facilities that are being built are being occupied before they're finished.
Isn't that, I was going to say, isn't that amazing?
When people sit back and say what a dump Waterloo is and what a crappy job the administration is doing and how government is all screwed up, you know, look at our city. Look at the south part of our city, all the growth that's out there. And while we're not growing as quickly as I'd like to the north, we are growing. We are adding things. We have a lot to be thankful for in Waterloo.
We do. We truly do. And I think sometimes we're so busy complaining until we don't you know, we blind ourselves.
I have said several times, I think that there's a segment of our population, and probably every city's population, that to them negativity is a sport.
That's it.
And they want to see who can score the most points and who can be the most negative, and I'm going to win, I'm going to be the most negative person in this city. And we have those. And it doesn't make any difference what you do. They're just out, they're out to be negative and to criticize and complain and whine, and they don't ever step up and want to add, they just want to
Well,
complain.
wouldn't that be something if those same people, you know, got into the thick of the mix and, you know, put your ideas forward instead of complaining, you know, do something about it.
Yeah.
But these people will always be with us.
Yes, they will, you're right.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
Gotta go back to something, when does budget start?
Well, you know, there's multiple parts to the budget. You know, I work with the budget every single day, trying to maintain costs. But our official budget process, Lou, will probably start, I'm hoping that by next week we'll have all of the department heads' requests, and we can start meeting with our department heads and kind of going through their individual department budgets. We have to have a budget certified by March 15th. And our goal is to have it before then. Our goal is to have it set by the first week of March, so that just in case we have some bumps in the roads, we can have time. But as far as having a number, you know, we always have to certify something, you know, I can't remember the date, it's mid-February that we have to certify a number. We're pretty close to that. So I would hope by the end of January, we're going to have, be able to say that we have this much revenue and this much expense, and we're going to have a zero tax increase, or a 3% or 7% or 10% or whatever it ends up being. You know, and by the way, it won't be that high. But I'm hoping by the next couple of weeks, by the end of January, we should have something for that.
That's a process, I don't think, budget, I don't care where you are, you know, that people look forward to.
It's my most unfavorite part of the job.
And the job, yeah.
It really, and quite honestly, it's the hardest part of the job, because
I can believe it.
you know, we have revenue and we have expenses, and we're not unlike every single person and every single family and every single business in the world. Generally speaking, our expenses, our wish list, our want-tos exceed our revenue. And then we just have to kind of pare that down and decide what we want to do.
I did have someone, this is a question that I'm supposed to ask you, a gentleman called, and I took this note down. I think the last time you were here, we got to the end and I didn't get to ask it. Why are they giving away taxes? Contractors are, let's see. He is saying that why is the money going to the contractors instead of giving it to people in the community? I don't know exactly what he's looking for.
Okay, well, I'll take a stab at it, because
Okay.
I think I know what he's looking for.
$1 for,
Sure.
for
Sure.
an acre of land
Sure.
or whatever. I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah,
his intent, is
yeah.
to find
Or
out
10
why.
acres or whatever.
Yeah, why is
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Okay, that is,
Use land for $1.
is because that's what, it's certainly not unique to Waterloo. It's every city, Lou, and it's part of the whole TIF, the tax increment finance conversation that we have. And contractors, developers, investors have come to expect incentives from cities. And again, it's not just us, it's everybody that does that, but we don't, quote, give away things without getting something in return. And we have gotten to a point in life, in our society, where if company X wants to come to Waterloo to build their company or expand their company, they are going to want incentives from the city to do that. And if they don't get them from Waterloo, they're going to get them from Cedar Falls, or from Hudson, or from Dyke, or from Marshalltown, or from somewhere. They're going to get those incentives. And the way we look at that is that we will provide those incentives with the agreement, with the contract, that they do something back in return for us. In other words, we don't, I'll just use an example of who can I use right now? John Roof. is wanting to put some houses, some brownstone houses down on the Third and Lafayette area behind Queen of Peace. And it's really quite controversial because Queen of Peace doesn't want us to do that. But anyway, we own a block that's underutilized at this time. We are going to provide John Ruff, and that might be a bad example because John's name sometimes doesn't always hold positive things, which is unfortunate because John's done a great job for the city. But anyway, we're going to give him this block of city-owned property for $1.
Okay.
But in return, John's going to build 6 or 7 different units that's going to be $1 million plus project that will, over a period of time, build the tax base and increase the number of property taxes that are being paid on that piece of property. Right now, there's no property taxes being paid on
So you're not getting anything.
it. So we're not getting anything off of it. So we'll give that to him for $1. He'll put houses on it, start paying taxes, and it will increase our taxes. And that is the theory behind all of the property that we, quote, give away for $1, is we require a return on that. So we think it's a sound investment. We think that as we give those pieces of property away for $1 to investors or to contractors, that we do so with the future in mind, that whether it's, and there are different scenarios that we work with, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years worth of tax abatements, that eventually those properties, those businesses will get on the tax roll, and they'll be paying 100% property taxes that will go to everybody's name.
The second part, the same
Okay.
gentleman had another question for you, Mayor, and he is unhappy, it sounds like, about that, but you've given an explanation. The other thing is, he doesn't think that the downtown, people who are living downtown, there are so many more who will never be able to do that. He says that $800, starting at $800 a month is too expensive for most people and for families. I don't know who, other than to let you know he has this concern. But, you know, my mouth's still open to the fact that people are living downtown, and I understand those places are very nice. And there will be people who can afford to and people who can't, but I think basically he's saying it's too much. So.
Well, you know, those properties are built. Those people do that to make money. But,
Yeah,
I mean, that's capitalism. You know,
That's right.
you're not going to put $1 million into a project
Right.
without the expectation that you're going to recoup that and at some point
Plus,
make money off of it.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the whole point of it.
Mhm.
So, you know, when it costs X to build housing, I think what this gentleman is talking about, there has to be a price, of a rental price or a sale price attached to that project that's going to eventually make this person a profit. I mean, that's the whole point of it. So, you know, whether the rent is $800 or $1,000 or $1,200 per unit, depending on how large it is, that is outside of some people's range. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But there are people that can pay that, and
Right.
those units are built with the expectation that they can charge market rate rent and eventually start making a profit off of it. That's why you have landlords, that's why you have property owners, is that they do that to make money off of it. Now, having said that, we have a whole department, and you're familiar with this, with Rudy Jones and with Ethel Washington in our community development and in our housing department, that try to work with those folks that are under-resourced and still need housing. So we have a group of folks that work very hard with down payment assistance and rental assistance, and Habitat for Humanity does a great job in working with people that want to buy their houses, as does Rudy in community development. I mean, we get community development block grant money every year, although the amount is going down, where we build houses specifically for folks that are under-resourced. We help them with their down payment assistance. We have financing packages available. So we don't serve everyone that has the need, because the need is too great. But we certainly try to. And you can't fault folks for building apartment buildings and asking market rate rent and wanting to make money on it. I mean, that's the American way. That's why you do it.
That's right. Ask for a little update on where we are in terms of what did it used to be, Mayor, on 4th Street. They were having trouble up there, and you know the place I'm
I'm not
talking
following, I'm not with you right now. We don't have that mind go this morning.
It's on 4th Street. It used to be Chamberlain.
Oh,
Anything going
I'm with you,
on.
I'm with you.
I haven't lost it entirely,
I'm
but
back,
okay.
I'm back. Well,
Okay.
Chamberlain continues to be cleaned up. You know, the company that's responsible for that is, I think it's stopped right now because of the weather, but our intent and the EPA's intent is to get the Chamberlain land clean to a point where we could actually put housing back on it. That's our requirement for that property, is that it gets cleaned to that extent. Whether or not we will ever do that, or whether we will ever offer that ground for residential development, Lou, I doubt it. I doubt it very seriously. We want to get it clean to that level so that we could, but I don't think it ever will. There are, we don't have a plan for that land today. As I sit here and speak to you, we don't. We have some ideas and some options that, you know, includes some parks or some playground area or part of a golf course or expanding into basketball courts. There's lots of different options for that. Our first and foremost commitment to that is to the folks that live in that area. To get that dadgum thing cleaned up and to get it looking. I mean, maybe for a while it's just going to be green space and it's just going to be grass, you know, that we'll be responsible for taking care of. But that's the first and most important thing, is to get that thing cleaned up. And we'll get there. I hope we get there next year. I hope we do. And I hope we can just get it to where it's presentable and attractive.
Now, and would you share with us, what is the, for the community's sake, what is the status, even as we speak, of the plaza?
Just keep bringing up just
I
pleasant
know,
things.
I know, it is just.
Well, I will tell you, the status of the plaza is also uncertain. It's still owned by the same person, Mr. Rappaport. He lives up in the cities.
He put it up for sale though, did he not?
It is for sale.
It is
It's
for sale.
overpriced, like everything that he has ever tried to do. It's overpriced.
Okay.
He's asking too much money for it. He asks too much money for his rent. I mean, that's why that has fallen into the shape that it is, because, you know, Robert Rappaport is probably a very nice guy, but he's a business person, and it kind of goes back to our comments about, you know, how come rent's so high? Well, because he's trying to make some money off of it. I think it's too high. I think his rent's been too high. It's why it's empty. I think everything about that has always been overpriced, as is the sale price for the center. It's either 3.2 or 3.4 million is what he's asking for. But I think we have the opportunity to have a chink in that armor, because it's empty. Right now,
Empty, totally.
it's costing him money. He's paying taxes on that for an empty building, and I don't think that there is any prospects at all to move in there as tenants for him. So I have had a conversation with Mr. Rappaport. He wants to sell. And I think he is now at a point where he will negotiate where he wouldn't before. I personally talked to two different developers and trying to get some interest. We're also talking with Allen Hospital to see if Allen Hospital might want to expand over there. You know, they continue to grow.
Yes, they do, almost,
And,
on a daily basis almost.
They don't want that blighted piece of property across the street from them. Tom Denny, who has the strip mall and the subway and all that, doesn't want that blighted piece of property across the street. So we're hoping that something good will come of it. Is it in the cards and inevitable, and is it going to happen immediately? No, it's not. But I think we're at a better place with Logan Plaza than we have been for a long time, as far as being able to negotiate and force something positive to happen in that area.
interesting.
It will be interesting. You know, the 63 quarter, that helps. Getting the old Logan School down, that will come down this year, this
Oh,
spring.
really?
So as that 63, I just had that conversation yesterday, as a matter of fact, with Dr. Norris, because we're working on something else with the school system. The old Logan School is scheduled to come down, and the school system's doing that, not the city.
Mhm.
But that's scheduled to come down next year, in
Next
2014. So as 63 develops and gets to be a gorgeous new highway, and that old school comes down, I just think that there's going to be some positive things happening in that area.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Our number here is 234-1441. If you have a question, a concern, or an opinion that you'd like to share with the greater listening audience, we have Mayor Buck Clark.
And everybody's got an opinion.
And everybody's got, everybody's got an opinion, okay. But we want to encourage our community to go down on Friday
I
and
really
look at
do.
the sports
I
complex
really do.
and take
you
a-
know.
I haven't seen it myself, but I
really
intend
do.
to.
You know, and as I've said, every time we talk about the sportsplex, you know, one of the issues was always, well, it's a rich man's country club is all it is, and it's priced so
And there are
nobody
people
can
who feel
afford it.
that way too.
Absolutely. But, you know, and I will combat that by saying, and I've always been upfront, nobody gets in free. You know, everybody has to pay something. But it's priced at a level, so, I mean, I think it's $5 for a day pass. So, I mean, everybody.
So for $5 you can go down there and use all the facilities.
I think
or-
that's what it is,
yeah.
right? But, you know, there's a lot of different pricing structures. We
Yeah.
want absolutely everybody to experience that and to be able to use it. So, you know, you can come in and look around for free. Come down and walk in the door and look around. Friday should be kind of a fun day. Both KWL and KCRG are doing their morning news shows from the Sportsplex.
Okay.
There'll be several people on the air. I'll be there. We have a press conference from there at 2 o'clock. We have the grand opening / ribbon cutting at 3 o'clock. And then it will be open to the public from 3 until, I believe, 8 p.m. for people to just come down and park and walk inside and look around.
Okay.
And you know, and get the feel of the thing. It's going to be an incredible facility. It's going to be something that's going to bring a lot of traffic to Waterloo.
Oh, yeah. I think that is absolutely true.
There's
That there'll
the
be-
pool area, as I mentioned, maybe I didn't mention on the air, there's the swimming pool part of it has a big slide and a lazy river and like a basketball goal at one end. And that is available for $175. You can rent that whole pool area along with a fairly large party room and to have your birthday parties and stuff like that. And we are getting a tremendous response from families that, you know, if your kid's got a winter birthday, you know, and you want to do something special, you go down and you rent the pool at the Sportsplex and you can bring your food in there and there's just a lot of, it's going to be exciting.
Very good. We want to thank Mayor Buck Clark for being with us today on his show, The Mayor's Update. We're
Excellent.
starting a new year, Mayor.
Yeah, it's already
And
January.
here we are, still together.
Let's go take a nap.
Can't be that bad, I'm telling you, that's all I can do, just to,
You know, but the year is,
It's going fast, isn't it?
4 years has just flown by, and this year, I mean, we're in the middle of January, it's just,
Yeah.
as you get older, time goes
I
really
say that
fast.
all the time, I say
Really
it all
fast.
the time, but there's a good side, there's an
Yeah,
upside
well,
to
I
that,
hope
because we're
all
still
of-
here.
I hope all of your listeners just have a fabulous 2014, and we're looking forward to it in the city.
Same here.
Good.
Thank you, Mayor Buck Clark. We want to say thanks to our listening audience and keep tuning in. Keep yourself aware of what's going on
Yeah.
at City Hall. Ask those questions. Go down, visit the mayor. He has an open door policy and so
Yeah.
forth. And we're going to continue to bring your voice to the air so
Good.
that people can, they may not call in, but they're probably listening.
I hope so.
And that's important
Yeah, I hope so.
information to get out. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Tune in again to the next Mayor's Update.
I had a lady, God bless her, I tell you, it's, we could make a reality show out of my office. I think sometimes
Oh,
that
I bet you.
the lady